If we hit 1,000 subscribers, I have a surprise gift waiting just for you. So, hit subscribe now. 34 missed calls. That's what I saw on my phone the morning after I bought my dream beach house. 34 calls. Not one text saying, "Congratulations." Not one message saying, "We're proud of you."
Just panic.
Just anger. Just my family realizing all at once that the free ride was finally over. But to understand why my own mother's voice sounded like static and screaming on my voicemail that morning, you need to go back. Back to the night before. The night I finally bought the house I had dreamed about my entire life. The night my mother looked me in the eyes and tried to take it from me before I even unpacked a single box. My name is Claire, and this is the story of how walking away from everyone who used me gave me everything I ever wanted. For 12 years, I worked a corporate job I hated. Long hours. No thank yous. No promotions that meant anything. But I stayed because somebody in my family had to be the responsible one. That somebody was always me. My younger brother, Daniel, was the golden child. Whatever he wanted, he got. When his businesses failed, and they failed 3 times, I was the one who quietly covered the losses. When my parents fell behind on their mortgage, I was the one who lent them money that was never paid back. I told myself it was love. I told myself that's what family does. But somewhere between paycheck 12 and paycheck 144, I stopped feeling like a daughter. I started feeling like a wallet with a heartbeat. Every year, I saved a little more. Quietly. Secretly. Not in the shared family accounts my parents somehow always knew the passwords to, but in an account only I controlled. $1, then 100, then thousands. Slowly, my dream started to take shape. A small beach house. Nothing fancy. Just a place where the sound of the ocean would replace the sound of my family's demands. 2 months ago, I quit my job. I finally had enough saved to do what I always wanted. Buy that house. Outright, no loans, no strings. No one else's name on the papers but mine. I thought that would be the beginning of my peace. I had no idea it would also be the beginning of a war. The day I signed the final papers, I called my mother. I wanted her to be happy for me. I wanted, just once, for my family to see me as more than a source of money. "I did it, Mom," I said. "I bought the beach house." There was a pause. Then she laughed, not with joy, but with something colder. "That's wonderful, sweetheart," she said. "Because your father and I have been thinking. This house of ours is falling apart. And you have all this space now." I felt my stomach drop. That night, she called again. This time she didn't ask. "Your father says we're moving in tomorrow," she announced, like she was reading me the weather. I stood there in my new kitchen, in the house I had bled 12 years to afford, and I asked her calmly, "Did you even ask if that was okay with me?" She laughed again, a short, dismissive laugh that I had heard my entire life. "Don't be dramatic, Claire. We're your parents. This is how families work. Find somewhere else to live if it bothers you so much. Find somewhere else. In my own house. The one I paid for with my own money, my own sacrifice, my own years of silence." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I smiled. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't scared of my mother's voice. I was done being controlled by it. Here's what my mother didn't know that night. What none of them knew. For the past 6 years, I had been quietly paying my parents' mortgage. Every single month, on autopay, straight from my account. I never told anyone, not even Daniel. I did it because I was scared that if I stopped, they'd lose the house, and somehow, that would become my fault too. I also co-signed Daniel's last business loan. $50,000. When his coffee shop failed 8 months ago, I had been quietly covering that payment too, hoping he'd eventually pay me back. He never did. He never even said thank you. For years, I told myself this was what love looked like. Paying. Sacrificing. Staying silent. But that night, standing in my new kitchen, hearing my mother tell me to find somewhere else in the house I built from nothing, something inside me finally broke. Not in sadness. In clarity. I hung up the phone. I sat down at my new kitchen table, opened my laptop, and I did something I should have done years ago. I stopped. I canceled the automatic mortgage payment to my parents' house. I removed myself as guarantor on Daniel's loan, effective immediately, using the legal right I had always had but never used. I didn't do it out of revenge. Not at first. I did it because I finally asked myself one simple question. If they don't respect my house, why am I still protecting theirs? I closed my laptop. I looked out at the dark ocean outside my window. And for the first time in years, I slept peacefully. I want to be clear about something. I didn't destroy my family that night. I simply stopped holding them up. The next morning, I woke up to my phone buzzing on the nightstand. I looked at the screen. 34 missed calls. 19 from my mother. 11 from my father. 4 from Daniel. I made myself a cup of coffee first. I wanted to enjoy that quiet morning, in that quiet house, before I let their chaos back into my life. Then I listened to the voicemails. My mother's voice was shaking. "Claire, the bank called. They said the mortgage payment bounced. What is going on? Call me back immediately." My father's voice was tighter, angrier. "Claire, there must be some mistake. Fix this." Daniel's voice cracked with panic. "Claire, the bank is saying I'm no longer covered on the loan. They're asking for the full balance. You need to call me back now." I sat there, coffee in hand, listening to the sound of a family realizing, all at once, that the invisible hands holding their world together had finally let go. I wasn't cruel. I hadn't taken anything that was theirs. I had simply stopped giving away what was mine. I finally called my mother back. "Claire, thank God," she said, breathless. "There's some kind of banking error. Can you fix it?" "There's no error, Mom," I said calmly. "I stopped the payments." Silence. "What payments?" she asked, her voice suddenly small. "The ones I've been secretly making on your mortgage for 6 years, I said. "The ones nobody ever thanked me for." That afternoon, they showed up at my beach house anyway. A moving truck, packed with boxes, parked crookedly in my driveway like they still believed this was their right. My mother stormed toward the door, my father behind her, Daniel trailing with his phone still pressed to his ear, arguing with someone from the bank. "You can't just cut us off like this," my mother shouted. "We're your family." I stood in the doorway of my house, and, for the first time in my life, I didn't shrink. "You're right," I said. "We are family. But family isn't supposed to feel like a debt I keep paying and never finish." "We gave you everything," she snapped. "You gave me responsibility," I said. "You gave me guilt. You gave me a lifetime of being told to find somewhere else, while everyone else got a place to stay." My father tried to interrupt, but I kept going. Years of silence poured out of me like a wave finally breaking. "I paid your mortgage for 6 years without a single thank you. I covered Daniel's loan when his business failed, 3 separate times. And last night, when I finally bought something for myself, the one thing I worked my entire adult life for, you tried to move into it without even asking." My mother's face went pale. Daniel lowered his phone. My father said nothing at all. "I'm not punishing you," I said, my voice steady. "I'm just done disappearing so the rest of you can be comfortable." Nobody moved into my beach house that day. The moving truck left, slower and quieter than it had arrived. In the weeks that followed, my parents worked out a new payment plan directly with their bank, one they managed themselves for the first time in years. It wasn't easy for them, but it wasn't my burden to carry either. Daniel, surprisingly, was the one who reached out again first. Not to ask for money this time, but to apologize. He admitted he had leaned on me because it was easier than facing his own mistakes. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was honest, and for the first time, it felt real. My mother took longer. Months passed before she called, not to demand anything, but simply to ask how I was doing. I told her the truth. I told her I was happy. Genuinely, quietly happy, in a way I hadn't been in years. I still love my family. That never changed. But I stopped loving them at the cost of losing myself. Today, my beach house is exactly what I dreamed it would be. Mornings with coffee on the porch. The sound of waves instead of arguments. A door that only opens when I choose to open it. My family visits now as guests, not as owners. And strangely, those visits are warmer than anything we shared before. Looking back, I don't think that night was really about a house at all. It was about the moment I finally understood that love without boundaries isn't love. It's exhaustion wearing a kind mask. For years, I believed that being a good daughter, a good sister, meant giving until there was nothing left of me. But real love was never supposed to cost me my entire self. If you're out there right now, quietly paying for peace, quietly shrinking yourself so others can feel comfortable, I hope my story reminds you of something important. You are allowed to build something just for you. You are allowed to say no. And you are allowed to stop holding up a house that was never yours to carry so you can finally walk into the one that is. Thank you for listening. If this story meant something to you, don't just scroll past it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it today.